Subscribe now. Don't miss any story. Share your thoughts or reflections in the comments. It all started on a chilly October afternoon in a sleepy town just outside of Portland, Oregon. Autumn had painted the trees in fiery shades of amber and crimson. The air carried a faint scent of pine and wood smoke. That was the kind of day when time felt like it slowed down, giving you room to breathe and reflect. But I didn't have much time to reflect. I was elbow-deep in boxes, helping my best friend Jason Carter move into his new apartment. Jason and I had known each other since high school. He was the kind of guy who could make you laugh even when everything felt like it was falling apart. Smart, kind, but stubborn as hell. He just landed a job at a tech firm in Portland, and I offered to help him move. He accepted on one condition: that I help him assemble his notoriously difficult to put together vintage wardrobe he bought online. The wardrobe had arrived in 5 enormous, heavy boxes. Its carved wooden panels and ornate brass handles made it look like it belonged in a Victorian castle, not in a one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint and creaky floorboards. Jason stood over the largest panel, staring down at the narrow hallway leading to the bedroom. "There's no way this is going to fit through there," he said, squinting in disbelief. I smirked and brushed a few strands of hair behind my ear. "Just go slow," I said quietly, almost teasing. "We'll make it work." He laughed, but there was hesitation in his eyes. "I don't know, Amanda. We're gonna scratch the walls. Or break the thing. Or both. Trust me," I said. "I've done this before." He grumbled something under his breath, but we lifted the panel together, maneuvering it with careful precision. The thing was massive, easily over 7 feet tall, with awkward angles and delicate trim that seemed ready to snap if nudged the wrong way. Inch by inch, we inched it through the narrow hallway. It creaked, the wood groaning under its own weight. I could feel Jason's frustration building. "You okay?" "Yes." "I'm fine," he said through gritted teeth. "But I still think this won't work." "It will," I said. "You just have to be patient." Something about those words, so simple, so gently spoken, seemed to quiet the room. There was tension, yes, but also a kind of familiarity between us. The kind that only years of friendship and shared experiences can build. We moved in tandem like a single machine, working with wordless communication. Our hands brushed now and then. Each time they did, it felt like electricity passed between us, even if we didn't say anything. Finally, with a gentle nudge and a bit of force, the panel slid through the doorway. We both exhaled at the same time, looking at each other with stunned pride. Jason's eyes sparkled in the dim afternoon light filtering through the bedroom window. "I can't believe we did that," he said. I shrugged, smiling. "Told you. Just go slow." That moment felt like something shifted between us. A layer peeled back, revealing something more than just camaraderie. There was something unsaid, lingering in the space between us. But we ignored it, or at least pretended to. Over the next few hours, we assembled the wardrobe together. Screws went missing. One of the panels fell and nearly crushed Jason's foot. We argued over the instructions, which were poorly translated and barely helpful, but somehow we kept laughing. When we finally stood back and looked at the finished piece, it felt like more than just a piece of furniture. It was a symbol of our teamwork, our persistence, and something deeper that neither of us wanted to name. "Want a drink?" Jason asked, wiping sweat from his brow. "God, yes," I replied, collapsing onto the worn-out couch. He handed me a beer and sat next to me, close enough that our shoulders touched. We sat in silence for a moment, the kind of silence that was full and comfortable. "You know," he began, "I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without you." I looked at him. "Of course you would have. You're just too stubborn to read instructions." He chuckled. "No, seriously. You always show up for me. Always have." I felt my heart do something strange. Something it hadn't done in years. "Skip." "I always will," I said softly. His eyes locked with mine. There was no denying the shift now. The air between us crackled with tension. Not the uncomfortable kind, but the kind you get when the truth is staring you in the face and you're not sure if you're ready to speak it aloud. Jason reached for my hand. Slowly, tentatively, like he was afraid I'd pull away. But I didn't. Instead, I whispered, "Just go slow." He smiled, a kind of smile I hadn't seen on his face before. Vulnerable, hopeful. "You sure?" He nodded. "Yeah, I'm sure." And in that quiet room, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes and the smell of fresh wood and beer, something changed. It wasn't fireworks or dramatic music swelling in the background. It wasn't even a kiss. It was just a look. But an understanding. Later that night, as I got ready to leave, he walked me to the door. Neither of us wanted to say goodbye. Something had shifted permanently. We both knew that. There was no going back to just friends. Before I stepped outside into the chilly night, he grabbed my hand again. "I meant it, Amanda. About you always being there. I want to be that for you too." I squeezed his hand gently. "Then start with breakfast tomorrow. And coffee. Lots of it." He laughed. "It's a date." As I walked to my car, I looked back at him standing in the doorway. And I knew, just like maneuvering that oversized piece of furniture through a too narrow hallway, some things in life do fit if you just take them slow. And sometimes, the hardest parts lead to the most beautiful beginnings.